Today we're going to talk about an album that I personally feel was very revolutionary in hip hop. It was an album that broke a lot of barriers. It was an album that broke a lot of color lines. I'm talking about Bangin' on Wax.
They are members of two of LA's most notorious gangs. Red is the color identified with the Bloods. The Crips wear blue. 16 gang members have put aside their weapons and their differences and united as rappers.
Take yourself back to 1993 when this album came out. The streets were on fire. It was a war zone out there. Los Angeles at that time had upwards of 2,500 homicides a year. Yes, you heard that right. 2,500 homicides a year. And someone had the bright idea, a few people had the bright idea, RIP to Red Rum, shout out to Sin Loke, shout out to Tweety Bird Loke, shout out to Ronnie. Few people had an idea to get a bunch of Crips and a bunch of Bloods together to record an album. How the heck did they make this happen back in 1993? That was the question everybody was asking.
We had done the Tweety Bird Loke album. The record really never came out. You can't find it nowhere. And we never received no paperwork or nothing on it. Long story short, we were like, damn, man, we got to come up with something. We need something that's going to make it hit. I was at the house. Probably had my son at the time, take care of my son. Wife was probably at work. My cousin Blue Rag came home. He said, D, we got a dope ass project. I'm like, what? He's like, man, they came up with some shit. I'm like, what? He's like, Bloods and Crips banging on wax. I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna be dope. Now how I came up about it, they was in there bored, working on some music and trying to figure out something, a new something we can come up that's gonna make some noise. Red Rum, I heard Red Rum was a part of that conversation when it first came out. He was responsible for bringing in the Bloods, bringing in more Bloods.
It happened and it was a success.
We were already big Crippin' on, we were already Crips, of course, but we were all Tweety Bird Loke album, Underworld Connection.
Before we talk about the album, Bangin' on Wax, which spawned songs like PIRU Love and Steady Dippin', let's go back to before what was going on in Los Angeles, in the country at that time. So just before 1993, we had just experienced the LA riots.
Now that the sun has come up, we can see the extent of the damage and the destruction wrought by last night's fires and rioting. There are firefighters at work, but obviously there's nothing they can do to stop the looting. And, you know, these are businesses where the glass has already been broken out and people are just freely walking in and out and brazenly taking whatever they want.
And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was about 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. And I just remember seeing the news stories, the In Living Color parodies. That was one of my favorites, still is to this day. Right around this time, what came of that is something phenomenal in itself. There was a peace treaty on the streets between Crips and the Bloods.
After the riots, it was brothers like, what are we doing? And I remember distinctly going out to different events. We would do, me and my partner, co-organized with some other people, some big, huge gatherings at Udema Village in the park, Magic Johnson Park, man. It was 5,000-6,000 cats out there, man. And guys who would never be seen in the same park were out there, you know, giving dap, hugging, crying. I mean, it was really an emotional thing, man. You could tell brothers was tired of looking over their shoulder. You could tell it. You could see, man. It was like it was a relief. Like, man, we ain't got to do this no more, you know?
There were big meetings all over Los Angeles. There was unity. It was short-lived, but there was unity on the streets. And I was too young to even understand this, but I talked to people who were there 20 years older than me, 15 years, even 10 years older than me, and they remember it as a great time and something that unfortunately a lot of them say will never happen again. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is the police officers didn't want it to happen in the first place.
But you had other parties who was like waiting to throw a beehive in that shit, or keep it going, man, because that gang situation represents a lot of money to a lot of people, dude. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money to a lot of people. In fact, I think I may have told you this before. A dude I know that owns a funeral home in Linwood, him and my dad was partners, and he came out the pad, man, talking shit. Man, these niggas ain't kill each other. Business is bad as hell. These niggas got to start shooting again. I'm like, huh? And this is kind of how some people actually think, man. Ain't no overtime, ain't no bodies. Ain't no funerals, ain't no bodies. The flower shops stop making money. The police stop making money. The DA's caseload goes down. Every time somebody gets sentenced to life in prison, dude, that's job security for 25 to life for somebody. Black, brown, or white don't make no difference. That's job security.
But right around this time comes this album called Bangin' on Wax. And back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have any preparation for this album. It was just something that you kind of heard in the streets. And not only that, you got introduced to it on something called The Box. Some of you may know it as the Music Box. But what it is, it was a request line. It was a video request line where you could pay, I don't remember what the fee was, maybe $1 or something. It was kind of expensive, actually, if you think about it, but to play your video. And my best friend lived in Compton at the time, and we would always watch The Box. And that's where I got introduced to groups like Bone Thugs and Harmony and E40 and all the Bangin' on Wax songs. Because people were paying to watch PIRU Love. They were paying to watch Steady Dippin'. They were paying to watch Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That's the first time I ever heard Thuggish Ruggish Bone was on The Box. And it was something really cool until later you found out there was a lot of payola going on and a lot of the record labels were actually paying, cutting, the middlemen out to play their songs. That's why I remember there were always songs where you just kind of heard them over and over again. Like, damn, this song again? Okay, well, it's still a dope ass song, but let me hear it again.
Be honest with you, I had no clue, and then they kept it from us. The record company kept it from us. They didn't really want us to know how well this project was doing. So I had no clue how well it was doing, other than the interviews, when we go to the interviews and stuff, over the phone interviews and stuff like that, and the videos, the music videos on Video Jukebox, when they were like just being requested.
The Box, the planet's only interactive music video channel. The Box, the only channel where you pick what you want to see when you want to see it. The Box, it's easy to use.
One thing we did know was a hell of an idea, because when they came, when it was presented to me that night, when Blue Rag came home with it, I was like more so like, oh, I'm coming up with my name. I'm putting on this motherfucking Freddy Krueger mask, because I ain't wearing no blue rags. I'm gonna wear this Freddy Krueger mask, and my name, I came up with the name Sinlo. Straight, intelligent, natural legend of Compton.
They call me Sinlo, yes, the G, that ain't no joke. The mystery of mask with the killer Snoop rap flow.
We were in there, man, and it was funny because when the Bloods and Crips all entered the studio, when we started getting a bunch of us in there to actually go cut music, we were showing up. Some of us was bringing guns, cats was bringing guns. You wasn't sure if it was gonna jump off or not. Yeah.
Off top, the song that stood out to me was a song called PIRU Love. It used the Computer Love sample from Zapp and Rogers. And I don't know what it was about this song, but just the song with the video, it hit. And I really liked it. And I was 13 years old saying, now in the biddy of Bompton, Lob Hood is down with the mob, Hollywood and Cross Atlantic off the Bompton Boulevard. Every town has an Elm Street, but not a Freddy Krueger. Don't get caught in the jungles over a park called Luda's. On Rosecrans, past on Leander at the light. Treetop is to the left, Fruit Town is on the right. 151's in Westside PIRU, Slay past dark, and the only other bloodhood is Campanella Park. Haciends and Swans and Bounty Hunters will call your number. Rolling 30s and 20, Outlaw 6 rims will put you under. Cabbage Patch, Center Park, Harvard Park, Anthony's Park 2, Scottsdale Neighborhood, Hawthorne Waterfront, all PIRUs. LA Denver Lanes, there's more in Pasadena Avenues, Bloodstone, Inglewood, Families, The Pueblos, Bloodstone Village, Black Peastone, Circle City, and Eastside Bishops got to going on with the MGs, Queen Street, VNGs. Ain't no stopping the Village Town, Eastside Penn, Crenshaw Mafia, Bebop, Watt City, Stones, and the Skylines. Don't say, come on, you finish it up for me, you know? I was 14 years old, 13 years old singing this. No gang affiliation, by the way.
I remember my cousin Blue Rag coming in there with an 8-ball of Old English, drunk as a motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
And he said, he looked at the Bloods, he was like, you can say fuck crab, cause I'm gonna say fuck slob. And everybody started laughing and giggling. He broke the ice. We went to go get some more drink. We went to go get more weed and everything, and understood that we were finna start working on this. So that kind of broke the ice. And then after the disperse of that, you started having studio sessions where the Bloods will be in, the Crips will be in. You'll walk in and the Bloods may be in there cutting one of their songs. It was times where if we had confrontation or arguments, before going any farther, I would get us to pray. I'd be like, look, hold on y'all, let's do this. I get us all to pray. Once I finish the prayer, we pick our heads up, we all feel the energy.
My best friend lived in the city of Compton in the Crip Hood. He lived in Kelly Park. He lived in Atlantic Drive, that general area. And my other best friend lived right up the street in like the South Side, and then neighborhood, Compton, Crip, like that whole general area. Just to give you an idea, the East Side, like Alondra and Atlantic, in between Long Beach Boulevard, you know, the general area. So on the contrary, it's ironic that we ended up liking that song PIRU Love, because we were in the middle of, he literally lived, we played basketball at Kelly Park, which is where they filmed Steady Dippin'. Boom. Steady Dippin', baby. For the motherfucking 9 Tree. And that is a video that to this day I remember, because we had to stay away from the park while they were filming that. We used to always play basketball at Kelly Park. It was like nothing. It was just like, and then boom, this is the 90s, guys. So, you know, there was some bullets dodging every once in a while and things like that. But Steady Dippin' was filmed right there. And I just remember that we didn't really go, or we didn't get to go, because, I mean, we're squares, you know what I'm saying? And those motherfucking gangsters, they look scary. Let's keep it real. This is the 90s. So, yeah, but I do remember that time. I remember it like it was yesterday. I also remember random Waldo from Family Matters lived right down the street from my best friend. Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo lived right there in Kelly Park area. Facts.
That's why the news media was all over it. Over 600 or 700 hours worth of news media coverage, because they was like, they wanted to know how it happened. But then once they seen that this shit went good, they bagged off. They wanted us to kill each other and fuck each other up so they can stay on it. But once they seen it was working, they bagged off.
But this album was very revolutionary, and this album is responsible for literally starting gangs in other states and in other countries. What I mean by that is, one of my really good friends was born and raised in North Carolina, and he told me that PIRU Love was so inspirational to his city that just overnight, just blood gangs started showing up everywhere. Just PIRU Love came out, and then next thing you know, blood gangs are everywhere. Kind of like it was with the movie Colors in 1988, when the movie Colors was literally responsible for spreading gangs all over the country. That and obviously the trade of narcotics, but colors and things like banging on wax were just as influential to spreading gangs across the country.
When we were filming, we went to Compton and we were shooting a video for Steady Dippin'. And you got to remember that we're in Compton, Kelly Park. This is Kelly Park.
Yeah.
And at that time, you know, the South Side wasn't even, South Side, Atlantic Drive and all them wasn't even getting along with Kelly. They was having issues. So it was like, to be in Kelly Park shooting a video was like already epic. But what had happened, which was relevant, was, and it was funny, but it was scary at the same time. There was this gangbanger named Big Kiki, and Big Kiki was Kiki Loco's big homie. He was from Harlem 30s. He came all the way to Compton and came on the video shoot and was saying he was looking for Red Rum or BK, because he said, I'm gonna kill them niggas.
Wow.
And he said, I need to find them niggas because I'm finna kill them niggas because they diss 30s, they diss Harlem, and I need that. And he had his pistol in his hand. He was like, nigga, anybody that got anything to do with that situation, he said, I know y'all all Crips. He said, but nigga, any niggas that got to do anything to do with them two niggas, I need that right now. And he was walking around with his pistol looking for anybody that he knew that was on that project that could have been a blood that might have happened to show up. Luckily, no bloods was there, so he didn't have to kill anybody. But I mean, he was like, we own that. We need him.
Now, what a time. Now, a lot of artists, let's talk about this album. Let's talk about this album, Bangin' on Wax. The first cut, Bangin' on Wax, was dope. They go back and forth. You know, the Crips and the Bloods. And I'm not going to recite any lyrics because they dissed each other very heavily. They were saying certain words that I'm not going to use, derogatory words to describe the opposition.
Pretty sure the record went platinum. And when I say the merch and the overseas and everything, when it went to each city and it went to the down south and hit the central California. I mean, not Central California, but you know what I'm saying, like Texas and Tennessee and all of the states. They took off like wildfire because everybody wanted to bang on wax. And then I want to also give another shout out to just where people may not know, but Kiki Loco and them, they had True Blue. True Blue was around that time too, but we took over the presence of where True Blue was. But I want to give a shout out to them too, because they was running the same neck and neck.
Back into my neighborhood, stop at Big Time, get a bag of chips and $1 wine. Roll down Greenleaf, make a left on Caress. Fire up the endo, can't mess with the stress. Damn, man. Damn, this took me back, dog. This took me back.
Tweety really looked out for me because my whole thing was I had just started being a producer because Battle Cat was like the super producer at that time. He was like one of the dopest unfounded producers in LA, and I was under him as tutelage on production. So Tweety told me that I need you to do a record. So I ended up making a record. I put Diamond in the Back, Sunroof Top. I mixed that with Cypress Hill, and I came up with Steady Dippin'. So when I made Steady Dippin', it was so melodic. And then we had my boy Jay Stank, rest in peace. He got on there and he put some bass guitar elements and lead on there where it made it real. It was like soulful, but it was still hood. Mm-hmm. Man, when we did that record, it touched everybody.
One of the standout artists on this album was Genuine Draft. Now, me being from Long Beach, I off top noticed he was repping Long Beach, and I was digging it. But little did I know that later on, Genuine Draft would become Domino. And Domino had a big career in hip-hop. He had a few hits. You guys remember Ghetto Jam? The Ghetto Jam is about to slam with some help from the Diggity D. As I see what's really going on, can you reminisce with me?
We got Tweety Bird signed to Outburst, and Outburst signed did a deal with Def Jam. So Domino became the first West Coast artist to sign with Def Jam.
Oh, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, he signed with Def Jam, and Russell approved the deal.
Here we go, as the food starts to do is a fat tracks for the D. That was the joint. He also had Sweet Potato Pie. I'm so high, gotta get a piece of your sweet potato pie. So he was a Long Beach native. So off top, I was like, oh, I was rooting for him, man. And Domino was, no disrespect to Nate Dogg whatsoever, and RIP to Nate Dogg, man. The GOAT, dog. The GOAT. I'm gonna say it forever. The GOAT. When it comes to hooks, the GOAT, the greatest. But Domino, in my opinion, was Nate Dogg before Nate Dogg. Domino, in my opinion, was doing that melodic. And Long Beach is like that. I'm from Long Beach. Long Beach is a very chill city. We don't get too turned up. You know what I mean? Like, unless you try to turn us up. If you want to wind us up a little bit, trust me, we can wind the fuck up. You know, but for the most part, we're a beach city, so we just like to chill by the beach, smoke and barbecue and not mess with nobody. We got blacks, Asians, Samoans, whites, Mexicans. You know, like we're pretty chill on Long Beach. So that has always came out in the music. And Domino, Nate Dogg, you can off top, you can hear him. Me, a lot of people, you know, we're just mellow, we're chill. We got a vibe to us. And Domino was one of the first who brought that Long Beach vibe. And he was introduced on Bangin' on Wax, but he went by Genuine Draft. Really, really dope. Shout out to Domino. And I hope he gets paid off those great songs that he made, man. Because Domino was a vibe back in the day, man. I'm going to have to dig into some Domino, man. But Long Beach was representing on that album.
I want to say this, too. There was an artist there. A lot of people may not know. A lot of people may know. But there was a cat that came to see Leon. And he had a CD in his hand. I was like, how you doing, brother? And he said, yeah, I'm about to go take this meeting with Leon because, you know, I'm trying to get on. He said, you know, I rap and sing. And I'm like, for real? And I said, let me hear something. And I said, what's your name? And he said, oh, my name is Domino. I'm from Long Beach. And I said, that's dope. And then I'm telling you, when he did, when he rapped and sang, I was like, this dude is like the dopest dude I ever heard in my life.
Wow.
Like before Drake, I'm talking about this dude was like, his singing and rapping was phenomenal. I took Domino downstairs to Battle Cat, and Battle Cat was, you know, working on his beats and stuff. And a lot of people don't know if Battle Cat are in beat mode, you do not disturb Battle Cat when he in beat mode. I was like, I ain't trying to hear what Cat talking about. I'm like, look, you need to hear this dude. He like, look, all right. And I was like, no, you need to hear this dude. And he wouldn't listen. So I stopped the drum machine, and Cat jumped up like he was finna fight me. And I said, nah, you ain't gonna fight me, bro, because
You're gonna thank me.
you're gonna thank me in a second. And I told Domino to rap. Everybody in the building lost their mind. It was like, man, can you please be on this Bangin' on Wax project? So we sat down and we wanted to ponder a little bit on the name for him, because we said, we don't want to call you Domino. You need a dope name. You need something dope. And I asked him where he was from. He said, I'm from Long Beach 20 Crip. And I represent, you know, Long Beach 20 Crip. And I said, so we was trying to figure it out, and Tweety was sitting there, and then because Tweety always had great ideas, and Tweety, Domino had bought some Miller Genuine Draft beers, and he was drinking, and then Tweety was looking, and he was like, man, he said, you like them Millers, huh? And he said, yeah, man. He said, I love these genuine drafts.
And shout out to the female rapper. Long Beach was representing on this album. Shout out to the female rapper C-Note, one of my first crushes. When she popped up on the screen, on the TV screen, I was like, damn, girl, what is cracking? I was like 13. I wouldn't even know what to do with her at that time. But I'm just saying, like, she was one of my first crushes. But it was just dope to hear, you know what I'm saying, representing Long Beach. Long Beach was representing on this album.
You know, if you pull the trigger of a gun, sometimes it feels like, you know, power. It may be a power thing. It may be just hype. You know, you get hyped up off of being in a gang. You really don't know what you're getting into. And once you get into it, it's too late to get out.
But there was always this thing. What side was doper? What side was better? The Crips or the Bloods? What side was better? Crips or Bloods? What side was better? Crips or Bloods? What side was better? Crips or Bloods? Said it before and I'll say it again. I definitely believe the Bloods had a better side. Just my opinion, from a hip-hop standpoint, from a lyrical standpoint, from all of it. Look, I pumped up all my people from Long Beach, right? I gave them all their props. You know what I mean? I gave my dude Sin Locust props. Like, everybody on the Long Beach did their thing. But I gotta, like, if I were a judge, if this were America's Next Top Gangster Rapper, I don't know. If that was a thing, like, I would have to go with the Bloods. The Bloods definitely, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think they got it. That's just me. And I've interviewed many people who are in their late 40s and 50s now, late 50s and all that, who told me that if they were Crips, they were low-key bumping the Blood side. They were low-key, when their homies weren't around, they were low-key bumping the Blood side, because that shit was hard. It was hard.
Now, the next question, man, of all the artists that was on that project back in the day, how many of them still around?
Oh, man, not many.
You, Cat?
Yeah, me, Cat, Tweety, rest in peace. Ronnie's gone. At least about 8 of the members on the Blood side gone. Sin Locust still around. C-Note still around. Stretch and Big Y still around. A lot of people died though, and a lot of it was gang related. A lot of it was circumstantial. A lot of it was, I call it like it could have been the Bangin' on Wax curse.
Why you say it was a curse?
I say it was a curse because we were the icebreakers of that movement. We solidified the movement between us and Suge with the Chronic. We solidified where gang banging went corporate.
If you appreciate good history, go down a rabbit hole and check out the history of Bangin' on Wax, and check out a lot of the artists that came from that album. They're still making music to this day, so make sure you support them and give them some streams, because it's really important to, you know, promote and help these artists who unfortunately didn't make a lot of money off of this album. But that's a whole other story that maybe we'll cover another time. What I'm definitely going to cover in the future is the follow-up album to this, which is Bangin' on Wax 2, which introduced us to the likes of B Brazy and other great MCs. So that's going to be in the future. I do appreciate you guys tuning in to Dusty Vision Radio. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button and tell a friend about my channel. I need you guys to spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, or night, whenever you are listening to the sound of my voice. And just be safe out there. Shit is crazy. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.